Roger Kincaid and Rob Breckenridge.
The reason we brought you on here today, Lenore, is because there seems to be a lot of parental angst around Halloween. That we're just not letting kids be kids and let kids have their day. Is that what you've been noticing?
Yeah, I mean, basically since I was a kid, but what has ramped up in recent years is the idea that you can never let your kids have any unsupervised time, and that goes quadruple, triple, zillion times more on Halloween because everybody somehow conflates, like, the scary decorations and costumes with reality. Actually, I have to pause my own rant here to tell you that a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, a guy had to take down all his decorations from his lawn in California because the zombies he had there were, quote, too realistic.
They look like real zombies, right?
In other words, they look just like those real zombies that you just don't want to encounter, and so he had to take them down. But what really gets my goat is the idea that when your kids are out now, there's all these new programs and apps being sold to track them as they go around the neighborhood. First of all, as if they're like a package, and you have to know where it is and when it's coming home. And secondly, as if it's so dangerous for them to go around the neighborhood. I mean, that's what they're supposed to get to know is your neighbors in your neighborhood. But it's somehow, if you're negligent and your children are in danger, if you're not watching them on a little map on your iPhone.
I feel, Lenore, like you, because you're a parent, you're a mom. I don't have kids. But I hear you talking, and I feel like you must just be really restraining yourself because of the absurdity of all of this. I always joked, but this joke is only half a joke, that you shouldn't teach your kids to not accept candy from strangers except tonight. Like, it just seems like, wait a sec, Mom, I'm supposed to now go around and expect strangers to give me candy?
Well, the fact is that they teach you not to accept anything homemade or strangely wrapped. And frankly, if I was really intent on poisoning kids, I would get that wrapper down straight. I would use a syringe. I would think about it carefully if I was really going to poison my candy. But the fact of the matter is, no child has ever been poisoned by a stranger's candy. One kid died once of a strychnine-laced pixie stick, and it was quite easy to find out who had done it because, his father had taken out 3 insurance policies on him, one like a week before, and I'm sure the dad thought, so many kids are poisoned right and left on Halloween. Who's going to notice one more in that big pile of dead goblins down the street? But in fact, since nobody has ever been poisoned by a stranger's candy, his was the only one who died, and so did he. He was put to death because he lived in Texas, and they do that there.
But Lenore, I mean, surely you're aware some random person on Facebook has claimed that some police department in some unnamed town is warning about ecstasy or other drugs that look like candy, and it's going to be awful.
Yeah. First of all, A, it doesn't look like candy. It looks like pills. It doesn't look like any fun at all. B, it's not a random person. It's the Jackson, Mississippi Police Department, which must be like hiding under the desk now, either from, the ecstasy lobby, how dare you accuse us, or just from parents who are sick and tired of being afraid. But why would anybody share their drugs? Especially with kids. They don't even get to have the fun of watching the kid flip out, right? Because the kid has gone from their house to the next house, and chances are they might not even eat it till 3 weeks from now when they're getting to the bottom of the stash and they're done with all the Snickers, and all that's left is this sort of chalky-looking junk at the bottom. And also, even if you were a drug dealer and you wanted to addict small children to ecstasy and get all their money, which is like, a couple of dimes a week, they're not going to know where to come back for their ecstasy because everything just gets thrown in the bag. And so it's a bad marketing scheme, and it's no fun. So why would you do it? Plus, you're wasting your ecstasy.
But it's just weird now because, when I was a kid, there's similar kinds of fears. It used to be, throw out any apple you get because there's bound to be razor blades in that apple. And now you're going to get ecstasy. Is it just an evolution of the same kind of urban legends and fears?
It is completely an evolution. And I think last year, actually, I was just about to tweet, there's a billboard up in Colorado that's warning about marijuana candy or cannabis candy.
Right.
It looks just like regular candy. And it's like, yeah, except it costs about $5 for a lollipop. And, even the rich neighborhoods where we used to go to try to get like a whole Hershey bar or something like that.
Yeah, well, the razor blade and the apples thing, Rob pointed out, like, I'm one of these guys who's got, like, the old school safety razor that I shave with. You know how hard it is to get a razor blade into that thing, and it's designed to receive the razor blade. Trying to shove a double-edged blade through the skin of an apple is more hazardous to the pervert than to the kid.
All right, this will make me sound weird, but I did try doing that last year to see if it was hard, and I hurt my thumb.
Really?
Don't do it. You look, before you take candy, see if they have a Band-Aid around their thumb. And if they do and they're handing you an apple, just back off. And the apple is dripping, and it's sticky, and there's a little gash in it about the size of, I don't know, 1.5 inches or whatever it is in centimeters, maybe no.
So then there's this other thing, too, and I'll just get you to address this because you've probably got it way better thought out than I do.
Maybe.
Halloween is like the pedophile's playground. So don't send your kids out trick-or-treating because there's perverts out there.
Yeah, there was actually a fantastic study done, and it looked at years and years worth of data before and after there were these laws that restricted what sex offenders could do. Like, you can't turn your lights on, you can't have a pumpkin outside, you can't answer your door. Some towns round up everybody who's a sex offender who could be your 17-year-old son who had sex with a 15-year-old, and they make them stay at police headquarters while the kids are trick-or-treating, and it turns out that there was absolutely no difference. And in fact, when the researchers were done, seeing if any of these laws made any difference and if pedophiles were really rampaging on Halloween, they considered calling their study, the results of their study, Halloween, the safest day of the year, because there's absolutely no bump in the night. No, there's no bump in the number of kids who are hurt or molested. The thing that goes up, the crime, the tragedy actually that goes up on Halloween is kids who get hit by cars. And one of the reasons they're hit by cars is because parents are creeping along after their children, so convinced that they're going to be hit up by a pedophile that they end up hitting the kid with a car. So leave your cars at home, let your kids go, do not GPS them, let them eat unwrapped candy, and let them stay out after dark just wearing some reflective clothing. That's what I would say, but who listens to me?
I feel like we're shortchanging our kids because
completely.
Yeah, like they don't get this sort of the fun, authentic experience that we got. I got to run around and impress people that I saw year-round with the costume that I had on and all sorts of fun stuff. But I don't think kids get to do that.
Well, yeah. Also, you think about Halloween. I mean, we think about the days that aren't Halloween. Kids are in the back of the SUV, and they're driven to school, and the parents watch and make sure they get in the door, and then they pick them up at the end of the day, and then they take them to soccer, and they wait their board in the bleachers while their kid kicks around a ball, and then they come home, and everybody does their homework together. And here's one day of the year, one frickin' day, when the kids get to dress up like non-kids, right? They get to dress up like a grown-up if they want to, and they get to go out at night, which is like a grown-up, and they get to work, right? They're going door to door. They're earning their keep. They're getting candy, and they get to have fun with their friends. It's the one day they get to be a grown-up, to experience the joys of not just being a totally supervised, bubble-wrapped kid. And we've decided that even that one day is too much for us to give them, and we're just going to follow them around, we're going to drive them around, we're going to GPS them, or we're going to do the trunk or treat. Do you know what trunk or treat is?
No.
Yeah. Oh, this is awful. This is an abomination of Halloween.
This is. I don't know what this is.
It is an abomination. It's when cars all join together they all gather at a parking lot in, community center parking lot or a church parking lot or whatever, and they back them in, and then they open up the trunks, and I always say, and then they throw the kids in them. But that's not what happens. They open up their trunks, and actually it's really terrible. It's really terrible practice when you think about it. Hey, kid, come look in my trunk. There's candy. Is that really what you want to train your kid to do? Oh, great. That's what I learned on Halloween. So anyways, they open up their trunks, and inside, in fact, there is candy, and the kid goes totally supervised in this circumscribed circle, and they get their candy as if that's all the holiday is about, which is just totally taking out all the other things you were just talking about, impressing people and being bold and learning about your neighborhood and being with your friends and learning how to cross the street and being out at night. All the excitement is replaced by what parents think the holiday is about, which is candy. Candy is part of it, but candy is certainly not the whole joy of Halloween.
Exactly. More at freerangekids.com. Lenore, always appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for letting me rattle on.
We appreciate it. Lenore Skenazy, freerangekids.com, also the name of her book. So some thoughts on Halloween, the war on Halloween, as my imaginary Bill O'Reilly would call it.
I thought he said they won that one. Oh, it was the other war.
That's there's that one. We'll get to that after after next
one,
week. Yeah, exactly. It's Kincaid and Breckenridge on News Talk.
Roger Kincaid and Rob Breckenridge.